Hey, what is up everybody? Blue Ghost here, and welcome to today's video where it's going to be a little different. Recently I approached a comment by Hitchcliff Wilmark asking, how do I play Aegis Titan Brawl? Unfortunately, Hitchcliff, you can't play this type of game mode anymore. And there's many other limited time game modes that were so fun, but you can't play anymore. Really quickly, I wanted to thank you guys so much still for the continued support on the channel. We just hit 33,000 subscribers. Not as fast as obviously as it used to be, but it's still a really steady pace. And honestly, I really appreciate the continued support, as always, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, if you wanted to join the membership club for this channel, there is a little join button right next to the subscribe button, which will offer you extra perks, like being able to play Among Us with us every Sunday or so, and you'll be able to experience videos early before they publicly get released. Thank you guys again, once again, as always, and now on with the video. Why is it that I wanted to talk about this type of topic of Titanfall 2 when it came to limited time game modes? Well, they brought back a lot of great memories, and there were some that were really great, and I wish that we were able to still play when it comes to private matches, because we can't play these types of modes in private matches anymore, except for Marked for Death and Skirmish. Those modes you're able to play. And they're very simple. Skirmish is like attrition, but except without the grunts, and primarily pilots and titans, and it's just like, it's another version of attrition without the annoyance of grunts, and it's just like you could find pilots easier in that type. And I think it also increases the party size of each team in the game too. Not too entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it does. And then there of course is Marked for Death, which if you play Titanfall 1 a lot, I'm pretty sure you know what this is, where you have a teammate that's marked for death and you have an enemy that's marked for death, and the objective to win is to kill the enemy mark while protecting yours. Can kind of be related to Regicide in Halo 4 or whatnot. Those game modes are okay. Marked for Death was very iffy at best. Most of the playstyles of people that they would use is that if they're marked, they would usually hide inside their Titan and then wait until the enemy mark is dead. And if that is if they're a pilot, then there's not really a whole lot of advantages for the pilot that they can do. Most notably, the best example of this is Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag mixed with Titans is very weird. I definitely think commonly you'll run into people when you play Capture the Flag, and mostly they'll be in legions, and they'll be sitting in one spot, revving up their Predator cannons, ready for a power shot, and whatever pilot they see coming by, it's just an easy kill, and then that's just all that there is to it. It's just like, that's just how it is. But however, Respawn introduced a different type of game mode for Capture the Flag that was called Capture the Flag Nitro, which was a much better take on Capture the Flag. It removed Titanfalls, it allowed you to play on live fire maps, and it allowed you to return flags instantaneously. This ensured for the fastest gameplay of Capture the Flag I've ever seen, and it was probably the best game mode ever. It definitely represented Titanfall 2 in the best way possible. Just like fast, like super fast flag scoring and just like returning flags instantaneously, and just like, and even without the annoyance of Titans, because in Capture the Flag, in my opinion, Titans are probably the worst thing to mix in with Capture the Flag. It kind of ruins the gameplay experience for a lot of people. And it doesn't really make it enjoyable for a whole lot of people. That's just my opinion, of course. But when it came to Capture the Flag Nitro, it was a whole nother ballgame, and it was really fun. You get to play on live fire maps, and just like the fact of being able to return the flag instantaneously made for a lot of good plays when you were trying to return your flag and try to help out your team to capture the flag. You could just like swoop in with a grapple, swoop in with stim, and then just instantaneously return the flag, and then your team could score if your teammate was waiting for you. That was definitely one of the best game modes ever that Respawn introduced, but too bad it was only a limited time game mode and you cannot play it anymore. And that's kind of the fact where I do really wish that Respawn was able to implement the way to put into private matches where we can play Capture the Flag Nitro. That was definitely probably the best game mode that they've ever introduced. There was like, everything was perfect about it. Just like, you know, you could play on any map. You could even play on live fire map. It removes the Titans, which do potentially, you know, ruin the gameplay experience for a lot of people in Capture the Flag. There's just not a whole lot of way to outplay or outmaneuver Titans when they come into the mix and Capture the Flag. And it can ruin the gameplay experience for a lot of people. Because most notably, when I played Capture the Flag way back in the day, people stand still or like in one spot with Legion and then just wait for somebody to pass and then power shot, and it just turned into a whole bunch. It just turned into a big old waiting game where it was just like, this is boring, this is boring, this is boring. But however, for Titans though, we were introduced with Aegis Titan Brawl and Aegis LTS. Aegis Titan Brawl and LTS were essentially it was LTS and Titan Brawl, whatever the game mode, but it let us use our Aegis ranks that we've acquired from Frontier Defense into the game. And obviously you can expect that this game mode is very chaotic when you add in Aegis ranks into the game. And yes, it absolutely was. You essentially had Northstar with a fast recharging railgun doing a shit ton of damage if she scores a critical hit on you, and she's able to lay 2 sets of tether traps, and they also explode if they're destroyed. Not to mention being able to, of course, shoot double cluster missiles as well. And then you have Ronin, who potentially can have an infinite sword core, because every time you hit somebody with your sword core, it extends the duration of the sword core, and you get a small amount of shield whenever you hit somebody with it. And also the phase dash travels way farther, and you get 2 phase dashes. Aegis Titan Brawl and Aegis LTS were some of the craziest game modes ever, and honestly, it was fun with how crazy it is. Of course, there's like a lot of bullcrap moments in Aegis, in the Aegis game modes, but it was really fun nonetheless, and just like of how crazy it is. But of course, Legion comes in, where he's able to use all 5 of his Legion kits if you have that Aegis upgrade acquired. And then there's also the fact that his close range power shot is able to bypass someone's Doom bar if they're low enough on health. And that was just crazy. But then yet again, we can't play this mode again in private matches, and I really wish that Respawn would implement something like this. These types of game modes brought a lot of joy to me when they were introduced. Like, obviously, Capture the Flag Nitro was the one that brought me the most joy, by far. That was like pilot gameplay at its finest, Capture the Flag Nitro. And then, when they introduced Aegis Titan Brawl and LTS, there was a lot of crazy warfare with Titans, and honestly, I felt like those were Titans at their best power. Like, the Aegis ranks added a whole lot more gameplay variety for Titans, and a whole lot of craziness, and a whole lot of ways to just destroy everybody in the whole entire competition. But alas, we cannot play these game modes anymore. There was a rotation that Respawn had where they would rotate the limited time game modes or limited time like events, but unfortunately, it's stuck on glitch 24/7, and yeah, that's not really that great, unfortunately. But then Respawn took another step up and decided to introduce Turbo Titan Brawl, which was essentially where your dashes recharged much faster and you could dash much more frequently as your Titan. So essentially as Legion, you could dash like every 1.5 seconds or so, and you definitely felt like the speediest damn Ogre class Titan ever. And then of course with Ronin, you could pretty much just spam your dashes every single time with Sword Core, and you would never be able to run out of dashes, and that was crazier. That was crazier said than done. But I mean, yeah, that was like the interesting part of it too, is that when they started to introduce these new game modes, Titan Brawl was not in the base game. It wasn't in the base game. They introduced Titan Brawl as a game mode for like a temporary rotation, and then they moved on to other games like Attack on Titanfall, where essentially everybody's kit was replaced with Grapple, and they all had 3 charges. That was pretty crazy, but like it was a lot of Grapple, and it was so freaking crazy. And then they introduced Rocket Arena, which wasn't that great, unfortunately. But they kept Titan Brawl in the game, and I really wish they could have done that for the other types of game modes, where it's like they introduce a game mode. It's like if the community loved it, then it would be kept into the actual game. That was the case for Titan Brawl, but unfortunately not the case for the other game modes. And it's unfortunate that we can't play in them anymore. And I really wish they were introduced, or like we could have a way to play them still, because those were really fun. But why is it that they were so fun? It's because they added a different type of variety, you know? It's like you could change up your playstyle when it came to Aegis Titan Brawl. It's like, so let's say if you're a Tone, you could fire a lot more rockets, and you have double the ammo in your 40mm cannon, and your salvo core, it's pretty amazing. And also, not to mention that your Sonar Pulse was able to increase damage that enemy Titans take if they're marked by the Sonar Pulse by about 25% or so. I don't remember what the actual Aegis upgrade does, but it does increase the amount of damage they take, which pretty much like lowers their defenses. And that was honestly really cool. And then there's like, you know, Capture the Flag Nitro, where it's like, okay, so we don't have Titans. That means we could primarily focus on pilot gameplay, and we could just use our movement to our advantage to capture the flags and whatnot. And also because we could play on live fire maps, that makes the gameplay a lot more fun and a lot more faster. And that's pretty much what Titanfall is all about, you know? But it's just so unfortunate that we can't play these game modes anymore. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for listening to our discussion today. Thank you guys so much for your continued support as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace and take care.